What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the 182 News Podcast. This is your host, poppincurbs, and I thought today would be a good day to get a podcast out. Sometimes I forget I even have this thing. I had to go back and see what the last episode was. That was the Davey Jones returns conversation with the legend himself, and at the end of that convo, I half-jokingly said, "Hey, Davey, you think you could maybe make it to one more show? You and I, Nashville, the last show of the U.S. stretch." I didn't think it would happen. I gave it about a 40% chance in my head, but I'll be damned, we made it happen. I'm going to hit on that. I got to meet Davey in person. We went to that show. It was a really rad time. So I will get to that in this podcast. I hadn't even put out a pod to follow up on that last show. So I will definitely touch base on that here in a little bit. I did want to look at a couple things that have been in the news recently. I feel like we're right here, like calm before the storm. And I've just been so busy. I haven't had much time to sit here and think about this stuff or line out an episode. And the more I thought about it this morning, I'm like, you know what? There's a couple things I can hit on top of the show I went to, of course, with Davey. So let's get into some newsworthy items. And then I'll end the episode with kind of just my experience meeting Davey and the Nashville show itself. As far as the new album, a new song, that's what everybody wants to know about, I'm sure. Based on a conversation that it looked like Travis and his daughter were having, I saw a little Q&A. She was interviewing him, and Travis reiterated that it's looking like October for the Blink album. Really, the only news we have from any of the members on this album is coming from Travis. And twice now he has said October. I mean, October is right around the corner. This is going to sneak up so quick. I cannot believe how quick this year has flown by. It will have been a year since Edging has dropped. Think about that. That's absurd to me. And I was thinking earlier today, it'll be over 4 years since 9 has dropped. Is that not insane? Time in and of itself is just fucking with me lately. I swear, I'm just thinking about how different of a life I had 4 years ago with one less kid and a newborn and just different jobs. And it's just crazy how much life and experience can happen and change within that amount of time. And it just doesn't feel like 4 years ago since the Enema of the State 20th anniversary tour and 9. Love that album, but it will have been. So that's crazy. So it's looking like October. Another key takeaway from that clip I saw is Alabama asked Travis what his favorite Blink song was. She said, "What's the GOAT Blink song?" And he said it's 2 that aren't out yet. One is called One More Time. The other one is called Childhood. So obviously, the first time I get a chance to listen to those, I mean, Travis himself saying that those are his 2 favorite Blink songs of all time, man, that's heavy. That's pretty high praise. So I just can't wait for these songs to get out, for this album to drop. Like I said, it really feels like it's calm before the storm. The U.S. stretch ended. They've got a little bit of a break here. They're going to be kicking off the next stretch overseas. I think it's September 1st in the U.K. That's a long stretch. Ends actually October 16th in the UK. So I'm so stoked for this little time period coming up because I think it's going to be just unreal. As I've said in the past, I can't wait to hear what these songs sound like. Do they pick up where Dogs Eating Dogs left off? Is it a perfect combo of 9 and Life Forms? I think it's going to be incredible. I really do. Just where these artists are at this point in time. I mean, I have pretty high expectations, and there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to crush it. I think it's going to be unreal, and really, it's just a couple months away. I mean, if what Travis is saying is true and nothing has changed, which I'm going to trust in Travis right now, even though his motto is don't trust anyone, I'm trusting in Travis right now. With that being said, you know, you start looking at the timeline of these things, and it's like, okay, they've got to get a song out pretty soon, you would think. If it's truly coming out in October, my gut would say hopefully a song drops before the UK stretch, September 1st, so you're talking weeks, potentially. Now, we've thought this prior. We thought that they may drop one. I think it was June 2nd in between the 2 US stretches. We thought maybe we were going to get one there. People were going so fucking crazy. They're reading like writings on a bathroom stall. But it makes sense. And if that album is going to drop in October, I mean, they're going to get one out pretty soon. They got to get one out. I hope we just get one more right before this UK stretch kicks off. I think it'll just lead into the hype of that. I'm so fucking stoked for everybody overseas to finally get a chance to see Blink with Tom. If you haven't yet, I don't think they've been over there since what, like 17? I know they did a California Deluxe stretch over there, but has it been that long? If so, that's wild. 6 fucking years? Wow. So I know I've got a ton of podcast listeners overseas, so I am just so stoked for you all to get a chance to catch these shows because I'm telling you, it's unreal. The hype is real. They sound as good as ever. And with a new album dropping, I mean, come on. Exciting times in Blinkland. Like I said, calm before the storm. Shit's about to get gnarly. I'm assuming we get one new song pretty soon. Album in October. Let's fucking go. It's going to be sick. I really part of me just hopes they drop one song. I mean, Edging has lasted us almost a year at this point. Drop one song, and then let's get the album. I don't want 10 songs dropped prior to the album. Looking at the timeline, there's no fucking way. Maybe a couple. But yeah, I've mentioned this in the past. It's like, it kind of bums me out sometimes when bands release 80% of the album before the album drops, because I'm just that old school type where I like picking up an album, looking at the artwork, listening to it front to back. So I want to have a little bit of that special new album release day vibes going on this one. And I think we're going to get it, just, looking at the context here. So that'll be coming up. We're going to trust in Travis on that one. Let's switch gears to Tom a little bit. So a couple rad things have happened with Tom since we chatted last. On my AMA, somebody had asked me about Tom's guitar coming back out through Fender. And at the time I said, can't say anything, can't really say much about that. It's finally released. It's out. So Tom's famous signature Strat is back. It is not the new Starcaster. Some folks were thinking it might be that. It's the older one. I think it's a good time to do it. I mean, it's a very popular guitar still to this day. People are making these. The resale market was pretty high on some of the original ones. So I was stoked that this was finally out. It really started rolling out on some of those last few shows on that US stretch. They were actually giving them away to people in the crowd, which I thought was really rad. That's always an exciting thing. I mean, I remember when I went to a show, Neighborhoods era, and Tom gave a guitar out to somebody in the crowd, and it's just a really rad thing that happens, and obviously you're super stoked for the person who got it. It's $12.99 price tag. I know some folks were curious about that. I figured that would be right around where it's at. 4 different colors. If I had to pick, gosh, to me, it's probably between the Daphne blue and the surf green. There's also the yellow, and then there's a black. I think the black is my least favorite, just because if you just glance at it, I think it just kind of looks like a standard Strat that you would see somewhere. When I think of Tom with a black Strat, I just picture that boxcar one with the black pick guard and the white racing stripe or whatever. So I think I would probably go with the surf green. I don't know. When I think about 99, 2000, that era, and Tom holding that guitar well below his knees and breaking his back, it's that one. But you know what? That yellow one's growing on me a little bit. I've seen some people picking these up. They're already getting them in hand. What I love about it, on the back, the little neck plate has what I call the Tom Doodle. T-O-M, looks like a little alien. He signs that way sometimes. I love that. So I think it's a killer piece. I'm stoked that folks are picking these up and enjoying it. I didn't pick it up. Honestly, I've mentioned this before, but my hands have been kind of fucked up lately. I don't know if it's arthritis or what, but I can't play as much guitar anymore. And I have several guitars that I already don't play. So I'm not going to pick one up. If there was some sort of Blink autograph signing or public appearance, I would probably buy one just to try and go get it signed. I would be more interested in that as like a collectible or memorabilia piece at this point. But obviously, Tom has a ton of fans, ton of guitar fans, and people that he has inspired throughout the years who are beyond stoked that this was announced and officially released through Fender. So I love seeing pictures of this. I've seen quite a few. I've seen people playing them on streams, on YouTube, etc. So it's really rad. And obviously, for Blink fans in this community, it's a big deal. Another thing that Tom was in the news for, this is just so fucking crazy. If you would have told me 10 years ago that Tom and To the Stars and his company that he was going to create were going to be name dropped in a congressional hearing, I would have said, you are fucking high, buddy. You are on an edible. No, It happened. It happened. We know this. I've discussed this. Tom obviously was pursuing kind of the UFO thing. He wanted to get the information out there. He wanted to really push the envelope on getting this discussed really in the public eye. And it's something that, really by me following Tom and To the Stars and reading those books and such, it really did open my eyes to some aspects of this UFO or UAP phenomena, mostly in the fact that there are military folks, Navy SEALs reporting this, Air Force veterans, some of the folks in the highest levels of the government who are well aware of this and really almost scared to come forward about it. And that's something that's really fascinating to me. And if you think about it, yeah, you would sound kind of fucking crazy if you go fly your jet around and you come back and you tell your commander, hey, I just saw a tic tac. I just saw a tic tac in the sky. They're going to say, buddy, go downstairs. You're getting drug tested, and you're not going to be on this base much longer. And I've actually talked with some of my friends who are in the military, and they're like, yeah, man, that's totally accurate. Like, people are scared to come forward with shit because you don't want to lose your rank. You don't want to lose your job. People are supporting families and their own livelihood with this stuff. You don't want to just sound crazy because it's something you might have seen or thought your brain was playing tricks on you. And Tom obviously believes in that stuff and felt that he kind of had the ability to push that subject forward a little bit and bring it out in the public eye. And at the time, it was like, okay, he's released some books. That was rad. I love those Secret Machines books. And then he had the Unidentified TV show, which was amazing. I thought that was super rad, really opened my eyes when you're looking at these people telling you straight up what they saw. And then you're able to cross-examine them with folks who were in a totally different spot, different parts of the world, wherever. And they're saying, yeah, I saw the same thing, same time. All of these people aren't batshit crazy. One or two, if it's Billy Bob saying he saw Bigfoot in his backyard, yeah, maybe you brush that off. But when there's 500 people in this town all saying they saw this shit at the same time, there's probably some merit to it. So at the time, yeah, people were thinking Tom was batshit crazy. And I don't think the Joe Rogan interview did too much to help that. He would probably admit that didn't go as well as he had hoped either. But I hope Joe Rogan and them eat their words on this because whose name wasn't dropped in a congressional hearing? Joe Rogan. Tom's was. Tom's company was as pushing this envelope and bringing this information out. And so I'm happy for Tom. I hope he is so satisfied. I bet he's just got a shit-eating grin, just so stoked because some of his decisions that everybody said was crazy at the time really has paid off. And obviously it's a work in progress, but to get the US government to admit that there's shit in the air, that we don't know what it is, and that items have been recovered, and they name drop Tom DeLonge of Blink-182 as kind of pushing that envelope. I don't want to say agenda, but pushing that forward and bringing this stuff out. That's fucking wild. I can't imagine how stoked Tom is seeing that on TV. But, he had to make a pretty tough decision. Like, I don't have time for Blink. I'm not doing Blink. I'm focusing on my company. Everyone's going to say I'm crazy. He had personal shit going on as well that he's talked about. So, yeah, to come out of that to where we are now with Blink and everybody being happy and, really To the Stars getting some props on that. I think it's rad. So kudos to Tom and the To the Stars team really for believing in themselves and helping push that envelope to get to the point where they are now. And it's interesting. It's fascinating. But again, I've said this before. It's funny when they're like, yeah, aliens might exist. And you look at the front page of CNN and it's like, Taylor Swift tickets are outrageous. I'm like, who gives a fuck about Taylor Swift tickets? They're saying there's shit flying in the air that we don't know what it is, don't know where it's from, could blow us up in 2 seconds. And y'all care that Kanye West is walking around barefoot. Come on now. Shit's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Into the Stars, other news. Let's talk about what I am so stoked about. So they release these little mini guitars. They're little replicas. You put them on a shelf. They look rad. They're made by a company called Axe Heaven, and they have, I'm looking at them now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have come out at this point. We've got the Gibson, we've got the BCR, both BCR guitars, we've got the yellow Strat, and we've got the Daphne blue Strat. And every time they release one of these, I say, please release the sticker Strat. You have to. Please release the sticker Strat. And I've just been knowing it's coming. It's got to be coming. I knew it had to be coming. It would make no sense not to if they're truly going to go through these, and they seem pretty popular. When I talked to Tom in Chicago at the very beginning of this tour, we were talking about the sticker Strat, and I was like, dude, you've got to do the mini one. And he said, oh, it's coming. It's coming. We're already working on it. And so what's crazy is, and I'll get into it maybe a little bit more, but at the Nashville show, Tom's tech posted a picture of the sticker Strat out of the little museum. And he posted it on his Instagram story, and he put "damn it" there. And Davey and I actually were sitting there at first thinking, oh my God, is he going to play this during "damn it"? Because I will lose my shit. And that's kind of what I was thinking. But I later found out Tom was using that for a photo shoot for this little mini sticker Strat replica at that time. So we've seen those at this point. Those photos are out. But big news is they did release the sticker Strat mini replica. It's up for pre-order. I think it's $60. You can see it right now. Looks rad. You can pre-order it. I think it's supposed to ship in October-ish. I'll probably do a little YouTube video on that just because I'm so stoked about it. What's crazy... And this is where, just being nerds, I mean, there's probably 5 of us who would notice this or care about it, but crazy thing is, the back of it is actually a little inaccurate. As you know, in the research, if you followed our research, you will know we've pointed out multiple times, this is an evolving research. This is not finalized. We learn stuff every day on this. Just the other day, I had somebody from the band Short Lived, who has a sticker on there, reach out to me. They stumbled across the video, said, hey, dude, loved the video. We were so stoked to have our sticker on Tom's guitar and on this little mini replica. I still have an original sticker. I'll send it to you. He sent me a picture of it. It's actually a little different than what we had it. So we learn stuff every day, it feels like, on this shit. And when they release the mock-ups of what this little mini sticker Strat is going to look like, what's funny is it's actually more of a replica of like what my current guitar looks like. Tom's actual guitar does look like this right now. It's very, very close. I mean, it's 98% there. But I will point out, just a fun little fact, the back of it is a little bit inaccurate. And as soon as we publish some of our videos, Davey and I and the Sticker Strat crew, we put out some of that. We put out all the sticker placement videos, the how-tos, all that good shit. And literally like a week later, Mark Hoppus himself found a good photo of the back of the guitar, clear as day. And that's one that we just didn't have. Again, it's so hard to find these photos, these videos. You're looking at pixelated, shitty VHS recordings, trying to find detail on a 2-inch sticker. It's unreal how hard it is. And based on the back and Mark's photo he dug up, that's the only proof, nice photo of the back we have. And we realized the back is just a little off. There's a couple stickers missing. There's like a $1.09. So we offered those to Tom, and at the time, they just weren't interested in fixing it. I'm the same way. I don't want to fuck with mine. I don't want to take the back off, the stickers off the back. I don't want to redo it. So I don't care. I'm happy with it as is. But fun fact, that little mini replica, it is accurate with Tom's as of now, based on our research that was slightly incorrect on the back and fixed by Mark Hoppus himself. So, fun stuff there, but needless to say, picking that up, no doubt about it. I hope you pre-order it. Even if you don't have any of them, they're rad. I think they go up in value. There's people now who wish they had jumped on the first couple. They're fragile. I'm scared to almost touch them. But yeah, killer piece. Super stoked for that. No doubt about it. So that's kind of the Tom to the stars stuff that I wanted to hit on that's happened since we chatted last. Let's switch gears to Mark. So big thing for me. Hi, my name is Mark. I had mentioned I did a little reel, I think, Instagram Live on his zine that came out. Really special thing. It's sold out super quick. And what I love about this is to deter the flippers who are flipping the fuck out of everything. And this isn't new. People complain about this stuff, but this isn't new. This happens with every limited edition release of everything in the world. But it's annoying and it sucks when you're a true fan and you miss out on something. But the first printing sold out super quick. They're all signed, $15, absolute steal for any of these dudes' signatures. Mark, to deter the flippers, immediately had a second printing ran. Those sold out super quick, and just went through the third printing of that, which did sit for some time. I mean, you had a chance, if you were looking and waiting for it, you had a chance to pick this up. I don't think there would be another printing because this one sat for a couple hours. It did sell out, but I think at this point, if you really wanted one of those and were waiting on it, you got one. It's a special little item, no doubt about it. And then I've seen this firsthand looking at eBay. It's worked. The flippers, these started out at $100. Second printing, they were down to $60. Now it's like $35, and the flippers are making, $5-10 after fees and shipping or any of that. So yeah, fuck them. I think that's what a lot of folks should do, is just make more shit so that all the true fans get it. And then you cut out the greedy little middlemen. I thought that was rad. And then they actually had a really gnarly shirt drop. 4 new shirts dropped. One of them is made by Terminal Radness, friend of the podcast, who's made a base for Mark. And then the others were made by Burrito Breath, who made a base for Mark that was basically out on this stretch. So really sick. Hope you check those out. I always try to support these dudes and their side ventures. You all know that. So I thought that was sick. Okay. Let's transition into the show itself. So, as mentioned, at the end of the last conversation, I half jokingly said to Davey, he thought he was retired. The whole episode was about how he went to his first show in a long time, first show with Tom in forever, it seems like. And I half jokingly said, hey man, you think maybe you can make it out to Nashville? What if we made it happen? That would be so rad. And Davey said that really his biggest regret was not being able to do the VIP thing, where you got to see the sticker strap. I'm so fucking sick of talking about this sticker strap, but we're going to get through it today. And then I'm hoping to retire it for a little bit until the toy drops, and then it's going to be donezo. So I'm thinking, okay, logistically, maybe we can actually pull this off. I said, look at flights, dude, half-heartedly. I don't even know if that was cut out of the conversation or not, but I said, all right, dude, real talk, peep flights. Let me see if we can make it happen. I'm planning on going regardless. So if you can make it out here, I can scoop you up, let's figure it out. And during the next week and a half, we figured it out. We've got tickets, and thanks to some rad podcast listeners, we actually were hooked up with a VIP component. And it's like, okay, we're good on tickets. We can get into VIP. We're going to be able to see the sticker strap. So you got to get out here, buddy. Book your little flight and let's make it happen. Davey books the flight. I go down to Nashville, pick him up, and it's rad. Davey and I have been Blink buddies for like almost a decade. Just chatting online. Obviously, we've done tons of video chats and such. But it was awesome just meeting Davey in person. There's not too many people that I can just sit there and talk about Blink forever and ever and ever and ever with, and them not think we're completely batshit crazy. But it was awesome. So picked Davey up, checked into the hotel. We were right near the venue. This is Bridgestone Arena, Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville is about a 2-hour drive to me. I've been there a million times for concerts. This venue in particular, I had not been to, I don't think since, probably 8 or 9 years ago. And I feel like I saw the Nashville Predators play there. So I was familiar with it. It's huge, which is always a big takeaway on these for me. It's just crazy to me, the amount of people filtering into this show and just they're stoked to see Blink. So we get checked in. We met a ton of Blink friends that we have online, which was awesome. It was just really cool to meet so many people who I've chatted online with for years, had a ton of fun with through streaming or Discord or wherever, throughout the pandemic and really, truly shitty times. So it was awesome to see that. By the time we got over to the venue, the merch line for the outdoor merch was like wrapped around the building, and it's fucking hot in Nashville in the Midwest this time of year. I mean, it was miserably hot. and this line was just going on forever. So it was just fucking crazy. We kind of walked around, and again, I just have that feeling of when I go to a baseball game and it's like, gosh, I'm with the home team. Like, I just get so excited seeing everybody lining up and holding their posters, and who's wearing To the Stars shirt or Blink shirt or vintage shirt or whatever. I'm just such a nerd that I'm just taking it in. Is like, gosh, this is so awesome. These are my people right here. This area was popping. I mean, that area near the venue, I mean, tons of bars, live music everywhere. It was all country, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, really rad day, rad time. And then I want to hit on the VIP stuff. So this is what I had not done prior. So I was very curious to see how this experience would go. We get in, we get our new Skankin' Rabbit. We get the VIP drink tokens, the little pick. I kept that. I wasn't going to get drunk yet. I like taking in these shows and actually being able to remember them. That's something that's changed with me in the past 10, 15 years. It used to be like, I'm going to see Blink. Let's get super drunk. Let's have a good time. Now I'm like, I'm going to have a coffee and try to stay up for this and remember it. But the VIP thing was cool. It wasn't too big. I would say maybe 60 people, maybe 75-ish. You walk in, bunch of tables. There were a couple photo op opportunities. There was the little stuffed, well, not stuffed, real life stuffed Skankin' Rabbit, like mascot walking around, took a picture with him. And then Davey and I walk up to the little road cases that are opened up, and you'll see tons of rad Blink-182 memorabilia on display. Most importantly, that shining sticker strap. And, earlier in the day, as we were waiting to go in, that's when we saw that sticker strap in Justin, Jesus, Tom's Guitar Tech's Instagram story. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, if we come here and that guitar is not in the case, then we failed miserably at this. So we were kind of worried that we would get in there and that guitar wouldn't even be there. But if it was because Tom was going to be playing it for Damn It later that night, then it would have been well worth it and it would have been just fine. But we walk in and it was there. So that kind of curbed the theory that Tom was going to play it that night, because if so, it probably would have been over by the rest of his guitars hooked up and everything. So we walk in and it was just a really cool moment. Here's Davey and I. We've spent countless hours on the research on this. This guitar would not have been recreated and sitting there, no doubt about it, for, all of these folks to enjoy without the research of the Sticker Strat crew, without the videos that Davey and I put together. And it's something that, even if I end this podcast today and stop doing YouTube videos, I think those will live on for a long time, and fans will be able to recreate that guitar, and future generations may be stoked about it. And that means a lot to me. So to see that guitar, in person, we've seen pictures, of course, for a long time, but to actually see it in person was really rad. Davey and I took a photo by it. We took some pictures next to it, no doubt. And then just seeing the other items, the mascot head from the Edging video, Mark's first Mako bass, some of his early amps from Of All Things and some of his early bands. That's just the type of shit that I just eat up. I mean, I would love a full-blown Blink museum just loaded up with all of that stuff. I think it'd be really rad. So yeah, it was awesome. And then, you walk around, you're surrounded by Blink fans. They had some good food, like the nachos were fire. They had that little video game that was kind of modded to look like Blink, which was rad. And I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was an awesome experience. To me, the highlight, obviously, the sticker strat and the memorabilia. But I think, to get in early merch access or whatever, I thought it was really, really rad. Let's get into the show. So to kick things off, I mean, again, it's just crazy how many folks are there. And I'm walking in and I just casually start running into people I know, even some podcast guests. So I ran into Matt Schneff, which is crazy because I feel like he's from Jersey area or New York area, but he's a dude I've had on the podcast who does some killer Hi, my name is Mark designs. And I saw him from a distance and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know that dude. So I got to say what up to him. I was hoping we would have a chance to chat a little bit more, but we were both trying to get to the pit and get our spots on the rail or as close as possible. Hanging out before the show, chatting with another previous podcast guest, Sam Nork. That was awesome. Again, it's just so special to me to meet some of these folks that I've known online forever or, had the ability to chat with on the podcast or whatever. It's really rad, and it's always fun just meeting people face to face. So, the brevity of the situation was just awesome to me. I mean, I was just so stoked to be surrounded, this huge building. Once again, it felt like the United Center, just looking up like, gosh, people just go on forever and ever and ever. And the opener this time was a little bit different. My previous shows, it was Beauty School Dropouts. This time it was Kenny Hoopla. He was rad. Like, he put on a really rad show. I thought it was pretty dope. He's one of Travis's dudes. They actually recently just did an EP of some sorts where Travis is drumming on it. That's pretty gnarly. I had listened to that actually when I was driving down just to try and get an idea of what he sounded like. And, then Turnstile comes on. Turnstile is such a rad live band. It's not a band really. I've tried digging into their discography, and for some reason, it's not a band that I just want to go out of my way and listen to in the car a lot, or if I'm running or something. But when it's live, like, I would go see them live anywhere. They just put on a killer show. Davey and I tried to get as close to the front as possible. We were like second-ish row, stage right, of course, as is tradition, just kind of waiting for Blink to come out. So I thought Turnstile was dope once again. And then really, as I'm looking around, checking to see who's in the building, or just kind of keeping an eye on who's around and whatever, I noticed Adam Willard out of the corner of my eye. So Adam, obviously most of you should know him by now for sure. He's now in Alkaline Trio. He actually resides in Nashville, I think, at this point. So that was cool. I look over to my left, I'm like, oh, there's Adam. Oh, there's Kenny Hoopla right next to us coming out to support Turnstile and stoked for Blink. I saw online that Chad from Newfound Glory was there. He was actually standing not too far behind me. I somehow didn't notice him throughout the set. And then another one of my favorite guitarists, Sam from Neck Deep, was there. So, I mean, it was really like a who's who, like, massive show with so many celebs, other artists just coming out or whatever to support Blink. And I think it just shows like how fucking rad Blink-182 is and how much they mean to so many people. And to me, that makes me hype. I've seen Blink at smaller shows. I've been up front stoked during eras where maybe some perhaps weren't as high on it or whatever. So yeah, it's special to me to be in a room with 18,000 people, from all over, including those that I look up to as guitar gods like Chad Gilbert. I mean, good Lord, it's awesome just seeing how much Blink means to some of these other really talented artists. It's awesome. So, I was stoked for the openers, but of course I'm waiting for 9:15, waiting for Blink to come out. So Blink comes out. Davey and I are stoked. We've been looking forward to this for weeks at this point. Really has been a long time coming for he and I to enjoy a show together. And yeah, Blink comes out, Anthem 2, like, let's fucking go. It's rad. I'm stoked. They sound amazing. I'm not going to go break down the set, track by track as I've done on some of the previous podcasts, but I just want to say that overall they sounded so good. I really think they just sounded so awesome. The banter that night was just off the wall. I mean, there was no reused jokes, nothing scripted. Like, everything was just them out there having a good time. I looked at the set list. I thought the only change for me between my last show was Violence in place of something. I couldn't recall exactly which one. And I looked, instead of Don't Leave Me, Violence took that spot. So Violence is always a super rad song to hear live, just with Travis's kind of crazy drum intro. It's one of those songs that it just translates really, really well in a live environment. So I did not get that at the first two shows, so that was a treat. I love Man Overboard live. But it's crazy to me, like, at the beginning of the set, these pits are so small and just kind of so chill that it almost mind fucks me a little bit. It's kind of odd. Because Blink comes out, I'm going nuts, but there's space around me and not everyone around me is going super crazy. So I was kind of mind fucked for a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm hype as fuck, but I'm so used to just like a sweaty ass, jam tight, like sardines pit in front of Blink, going crazy, getting hit. And, it's nice, but it took me a couple songs to really kind of like, okay, let's fucking go. Like, I just get to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't care if anybody's moving. I'm going to go fucking nuts. And I tell you, we get through some of the songs, and just like the first couple shows I went to, really some of the stands out to me are Up All Night. I think Stay Together for the Kids is just unreal live. And knowing that these three are back together and what the band and everything has been through, I just think that is probably the most powerful song in the set. It's definitely up there, probably top three. I shouldn't say most powerful because I'm going to get into Adam's song, which I think, as far as emotion and evoking emotion, that's probably the one. But Stay Together for the Kids is one that once we kind of get to that point in the set, I mean, man, it is just killer and just raw energy. So sick. I thought Bored to Death once again was just a killer highlight for me. And that's something that, leading into this tour, I did not think that would be the one song that either A, they would even play, but B, that I would be like so fucking stoked to hear with Tom. And they just crush it. I mean, that song just absolutely rips live, and I think Tom is just killing it. So that's cool. They played Cynical. It was cool. Like during that point in the set, Mark had mentioned something about, want to give a shout out to Adam Willard, who's here. All of these three, dudes have kind of bounced in between side projects and different bands. And, Tom has been in a band with Adam, and Adam is now in a band with Skiba. It actually already been in a band with Skiba. And they kind of made a joke about how they're all just this little rotating community. But, Blink as a whole is just so special that, they had the ability to go on with members in and out. And we've seen that a couple times now. So it was cool to see that mentioned. Adam actually had went through a gnarly motorcycle accident about probably a year ago, if not a little bit more. But thankfully came out of that healed. And then, as we know now, they did the Electron project with he and Skiba. They released that 2-song EP. And then right after that, he basically got announced in Alkaline Trio. So I'm stoked for Adam. Just the ability to drum again is awesome. I've always thought that his drum patterns and everything in Angels and Airwaves were just killer. So, I'm stoked for Adam and definitely stoked for Alkaline Trio. I can't wait for some new Trio music. They just announced a tour that's swinging somewhat close to me, actually, in Nashville. I'm hoping to be able to make it. I don't know if I'm going to. It's just really difficult with a 10-month-old baby who wakes up at 5 a.m. and I don't just want to pawn off all kid responsibility to Mrs. Curbs. So I got to kind of pick and choose my my concerts I want to burn a day or night at a hotel on and kind of deal with that. But that's all right. So yeah, that was a cool moment in the set, calling out Adam and kind of giving him a shout out and mentioning that. I thought that was super sick. Mark did have a new bass that I had not seen on the first couple shows. It was made by an artist named Thumbs. So that was rad. We got to see that mostly in place, I think, of the Jazzguire, that white one with the 80s theme on it, but it pops. I mean, that that bass in itself, it's like a neon looking theme. It looks really fucking rad. It's almost like early 90s, like reminds me of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for some reason. Like windbreaker jackets and pants and such. It's pretty sick. But I want to get to, the moment in the set that once again just fucking takes it all for me is Adam's song. And this full clip is actually now out on YouTube. I've seen it. So you can Google it. I think if you just Google Adam's song, Nashville 2023, it'll pop up. But I had mentioned on the first two shows, night one, Adam's song really fucked me up. I mean, standing right in front of Mark, knowing what all he's been through and what Blink has been through and everybody really just the past couple years with the pandemic and just shitty times. I'm not a crier at concerts, and that first night fucked me up. Like, I was crying. Second night, held my shit together a little better. And, I didn't think for 1 second that it would kill me like it did going into this show. But we get to that point in the set, and Mark starts giving his speech about how, not too long ago, he didn't even know if he would be here. And the fact that we're all here celebrating and, able to join each other in this thing we call music and how special it is. It truly means the world to him. And when he started that, the thing that really got me, he's leading into the song, and as he's done, but on this one, he mentions how this song saved his life, Adam's song. And that's something that I had never heard him say before. We all know that Adam's song if you listen to the lyrics, I've talked about it before. I remember listening to the song for the first time in the car with my mom and looking over at my mom, and my mom was crying. And obviously, if you listen to the lyrical content and throughout the years, you'll know that it's a pretty heavy song. And people forever have said that this song has saved their lives. And it has. There's no doubt in my mind that this song and this band has saved lives. And that's a fucking crazy powerful thing to begin with. But for Mark to say that this song saved his life, I never heard him say that. I've always thought about everybody else, but then sometimes I think we forget that the artist, when they're pouring this stuff out, and this is pouring out of their soul or, going from brain to emotion to pen and paper, that's their story. That's their emotion and that's their art that is pouring out. And a lot of artists actually can have a hard time with that even going to other people or other people taking that upon themselves or whatever. So to hear Mark actually come out in front of everybody and say like, this song saved my life, and then this band and this music and all of this saved my life again, talking about going through the cancer battle where he has came out and said like he didn't want to go through with it. And in fact, if you look at his zine and some of that stuff, it's pretty deep. It's heavy shit. And, talking to Mark quite a bit during that time, it just kills me. It really does. And to hear him say that in front of all these people, everybody is just choking up. Everybody's just crying. And I was fucking crying like crazy when this song started, like worse than the night one that I saw it the first time. And the song kicks off, and I mean, it's just goosebumps. It's a heavy moment. And I was just so fucking glad that he's here for this and able to enjoy this. And everybody in that crowd is going to remember that. And I think that's just so special, is that we were all there able to really help Mark get through the song, help, just with life in general and all of the struggles and everything that we're going through. You're all synced up to that song at that one point in time. And that's just something that's just so fucking special. And I don't want that to ever fall off anybody's radar. Because to me, I truly try to take in those moments and appreciate it. Part of me, I was right in front of Mark. I mean, I could have reached over and tapped his shoe. So to have that right in front of me, it didn't even fucking cross my mind to like, oh, I need to record this or take a pic. I was just so in the moment. And he gets through the first verse and the second verse starts up and he can't get it started. And the crowd came in and sang those first couple lines of the second verse. And that's where I'm like, God damn. Like, this is so fucking gnarly. Like, this is heavy shit. What a fucking moment. And we get through it. And a lot of people in the crowd probably wouldn't notice this. But Mark was really struggling to keep his shit together emotionally. And I cannot imagine what it's like to go through what he has gone through and then to look out at 18,000 faces and lights singing that stuff back to you and kind of helping you through that moment. And so he was kind of overcome by it, it looked like. And there's a very special moment, and I've never seen one person talk about it. I've never seen it mentioned, never seen it pointed out on a video. But then the next song is Ghost on the Dance Floor, which was killer. I love Ghost on the Dance Floor live. This is, again, one of the highlights. And I think a lot of it is because I hadn't heard that song live forever. Neighborhoods has a very special place in my heart and a lot of folks' hearts. So to kick off that album, it's just an amazing song. And to actually get it live on this tour with Tom, it's really special. They're playing Ghost on the Dance Floor. And there's a moment where Mark's jumping around on stage, and I can just tell by looking at him that like he's still fucked up from that Adam song moment. And I also want to mention, I saw later, I didn't see it, but Tom on his side, stage left, as Mark was giving that speech, Tom was crying. So it was fucking heavy. I saw a clip where Tom literally like takes a deep breath and is like wiping off his eyes. Like, that's his fucking friend that they built this beautiful thing with. That's a heavy fucking moment. And you just never know how things can change in an instant. So they get through Adam's song, Ghost on the Dance Floor kicks off. And I can just tell by looking at Mark that like, God, he's still like this is a heavy moment. And there was a point where he takes off his glasses And he kind of did it seamlessly, like hopping through the stage, but he takes off his glasses and he has to wipe off his eyes because he's crying too much. His glasses were probably fogging up, but he was still just overcome with emotion from the Adams song moment. And he had to take off his glasses mid Ghost on the Dance Floor, wipe off his eyes. And then he put his glasses back down and he looks up and he says, Jesus Christ. And what he meant by that was like, I've got to get through this moment. Like, Jesus, like it was almost like he was like, I didn't think I would be that emotional. Like, come on, suck it up, Mark. You got to get through this. You got a couple more songs to play. And it was just a little neat thing like that, it's just little moments like that I will remember forever. And, a lot of folks, if you weren't right there, you don't catch that stuff. But right up front, I saw it. Davey saw it. I mean, it's just unreal. I can still picture it so perfectly. He just takes off his glasses, wipes his eyes, and just kind of looks up and mutters underneath his breath, like, Jesus Christ, get it together, Mark. Like, come on, you got to get through this. And I mean, it was just crushing right in front of me. But I thought that was, no doubt about it, the highlight of the set for me. It was cool. There was a couple times where Mark came over. He looked right at us, and he looked right at Davey. He said, "Hi, Davey." Middle of the set, looks right over at Davey and I standing there, and he just looked, and he was just like so shocked that he was there, and looked right at him and just goes, "Hi, Davey." Which is so epic, just so cool. So I know that meant a lot to Davey. Super rad moment for sure. And then, to close out the set with Damn It, I mean, with Davey and I right there. Davey has, told so many stories on the podcast, but it was really a special moment for he and I to kind of share that. It was almost like the combining of our generations in a sense. He was 95 through 98. I'm kind of 97-ish onward. So it was cool because we both kind of bring different things to the table. And I think that's why we can probably talk for 17 hours about Blink-182. But for us to kind of be there and share that moment and share Damn It together, that's a song that Davey, no doubt about it, like loved, saw early on. It was awesome. It was really special. The bridge for that, being in Nashville, Mark busted out the Taylor Swift, "We are never, ever, ever getting back together." And I'll tell you what, that fucking song is still stuck in my head. I finally thought it was getting ready to be out of my head a couple days ago, and my sister texted me, "Hey, can you sign up to try and get Taylor Swift tickets?" And immediately it came right back. I'm like, damn it. I wanted that gone, and now it's right back. So I'll probably have to listen to that later. I mean, it's stuck in my head so much that I even told Siri to play it. Like, my son likes it. It's crazy. So anyways, that's kind of the recap of the show. I thought it was awesome. Obviously, really a full circle moment for Davey and I to get to meet in person. I did bring Tom's Les Paul out there, so I wanted to surprise Davey and let him kind of play it and hold it and stuff. So that was rad. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was an awesome trip, getting able to meet so many folks that I've kind of just hung out with online for several years. Truly special, no doubt about it. And, to end off that US stretch, I think in general was just a rad show to be at. So rad times, no doubt about it. I wanted to kind of get a podcast out to hit on that. I know some folks were wanting one like the next day, and my life is just so fucking crazy right now. It's just unreal with real jobs and, 2 kids and young kids and school starting for the first time and all this stuff. Like, it's just wild. But like I said, calm before the storm. If we get a new song, I'm hoping by the next time we talk, maybe we've got a new song or potentially the new album. Hopefully I'll get one out next month, but we'll see. But anyways, that's what I wanted to hit on. I'm super stoked for the new album. I'm stoked to get that fucking sticker strat toy. I think I'm good to go on this one. So we'll end here. I hope everybody has the raddest day ever, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Be sure to follow the pod IG at 182 News Pod. Follow me on YouTube, 182 News. Be sure to like, subscribe, send gobstoppers. Who cares? I don't know. Anyways, talk soon.